Hello and welcome back to another episode of NFL Picks. I have Newsday's NFL's pick columnist Joe Manniello joining us again. Joe, how you doing?
Doing good, Matt. How are you?
Doing pretty good. So tough week for both of us last week. We both went 1-4, which brings me to 25-31. You're at an even 500, 28-28. So a 3-game lead for you heading into week 12.
Yeah, it was a tough week. My only win was the Jets.
There you go. So let's jump right into it. We'll start with the Thanksgiving games. We'll pick those three. So Texans and the Lions is the first of the matchup. Texans are favored by 2.5. Who do you like in this game?
Yeah, it's amazing how things change after 1 week. If the Lions had won last week, they'd probably be favored by at least 3. The Texans surprised me. I had the Pats as my lock of the week last week, and the Texans played really well. Every year I feel like the Detroit game is tough because they're such a hard team to figure out. I mean, they scored, they got shut out in Carolina, and you just know they're going to score on their first opening drive, and it'll be 14-0. But I'm going to take the Texans. To me, it comes down to Deshaun Watson. I trust him to make the big plays when necessary. I think it'll be a high-scoring, entertaining game. I mean, a lot of people aren't happy with these first 2 games, but I think they're going to be better than people think. And I can see the Lions. This could be like a 34-27 kind of game. I trust Deshaun Watson more. The Lions, who knows with them? I don't know how you get shut out of Carolina, and Matt Patricia might not survive the weekend. Who knows? So they had a chance to be 6-5 if they had won last week, and took it to go from 3-5 to 6-5, and of course they blew it, typical Lions fashion. So I can't take them. I mean, there's no big home crowd that they can feed off of on Thanksgiving like years past. So I'm going to go with the Texans, and I think they win by at least 3, maybe even a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going with the Texans as well. And it comes down to I just don't trust Matt Patricia. This team, they go into Carolina, and you think, okay, maybe this is a game that gets them back on track, and they lose. Not only do they lose, they got shut out, like you said. So I have no faith in that team whatsoever. I'd rather align with Deshaun Watson and the Texans, even with their struggles. Like you said, I think they win by maybe 4 to 6 points, somewhere in that range. I'm going to say 30-24. The Texans win, but I think it'll be an entertaining game at least. I know none of these teams really are going to be in the mix for the playoffs, but I think they'll give us an entertaining one to kick off the day. Then the second game is Washington and the Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 3 points in this game. Who do you like here?
Yeah, this is another game where last week people were laughing about 2-7 versus 2-7, but they both won, and now the three, all 4 teams in the NFC East have 3 wins. So unless this game ends in a tie, which isn't out of the question, I guess, one of these teams will be the first to have 4 in NFC East, which is usually not a big deal in Week 12, but this year it's a huge deal. And I like Dallas. I thought they were going to play the Vikings well last week, but I didn't call the outright upset, but I thought it would be a close game. Mm-hmm. So I don't think the Vikings are that great, and they played really well. 31-28 win. C.D. Lamb made like an amazing catch in the end zone. Andy Dalton played really well. And another team where you never know. Like if they lose, I wouldn't be shocked. But only 3 points at home, Thanksgiving. I think they'll have some fans in there because they've had fans all year, but not a full crowd, obviously. But I think it'll be a close game. Maybe like another high-scoring game, I say. Maybe like 31-27 kind of game, 31-24. But I'm gonna go with the hosts. I think I like what they did last week in Minnesota, and I don't really trust Washington. And I think Dallas, maybe Mike McCarthy can rally these guys. They have the talent. I mean, they have a lot of talented players, even without Prescott. So I think they'll get the job done.
Yeah, I'm with you also. I'm taking the Cowboys too. And I don't trust Washington. I don't think their roster is as good as the Cowboys roster, like you were saying. They do have talent. C.D. Lamb looks like he's going to be a star in this league. And I think they're going to be able to get by with Andy Dalton. I don't think, obviously, they're going to be what they were with Dak. But at the end of the day here, when you're looking at Andy Dalton and that roster versus Washington's a little bit more of a depleted roster, and you're not really sure what you're getting out of their quarterback play with Alex Smith up and down so far. So I have more faith in the Cowboys than I do Washington. That's where I was going with this pick. And only 3 points I feel comfortable with. I think they win maybe like 28-21, like a touchdown difference, 6 points difference, something like that. So I'll take the Cowboys -3 as well.
Okay.
As for the nightcap, Ravens and Steelers should be a good matchup. Steelers are favored by 5. Who do you like here?
Yeah, this was like a 2.5 point spread before the whole Ravens COVID-19 positive test, and they also, I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. They were 6-1, I think. They lost 3 out of 4, or two in a row and 3 out of 4. Pittsburgh beat them early in the year at Baltimore 28-24. and Baltimore had a chance to win the game late. But something's not right with Lamar Jackson and that offense, and the fact that two of the top running backs are out, and Ingram and Dobbins. So I think Dobbins reminds you of like Ray Rice, the same jersey number. He's explosive.
Yep.
5 points is a lot for a rivalry game. These quick games are always close, and the Steelers win by 3, so be it. But I'm gonna lay the points. I just think Pittsburgh's at home, and I mean it's hard to play an NFL game on short rest as it is, and now they had this whole COVID positive test, and two of their important players plus the facility was shut down. It just seems like a lot, and it's like really the wrong time for this team for this to happen to them because they're just not right. So I think if the Ravens keep it close, I won't be surprised. I think I will be surprised if they win. It's hard to say because they went 14-2 last year, but they just don't look right. And Steelers are 10-0. They barely even had to break a sweat against the Jaguars last week, so it was almost like a bye. And now that defense, I think, they saw Jackson earlier this year. They know him well. I think they'll give him fits again. So I like the Steelers to get to 11-0 and win by about a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm with you again. I'm taking the Steelers too. And for the reasons you said, the whole COVID situation with them and not having their top two running backs is going to play a factor. We know how much they like to run that offense through their running game. And to me, it seems like any time that Lamar Jackson has to get into a kind of a shootout game or come from behind, it doesn't usually tend to work out for the Ravens. I just trust the Steelers. They've been there before. They've done that, and they're 10-0. They are the better team right now, and I understand the Ravens were great last year, but for whatever reason, it's just not clicking right now. And I think if they're going to have to keep up with that Steelers offense and going up against a really tough defense and a team that can get after the quarterback like nobody else, I don't like that matchup at all for the Ravens. And then on top of that, you put in the COVID situation this week. I think the Steelers can win by 7 to 10 points. So I'll take them, the Steelers -5, and say something like a 30-23 kind of game.
I was just thinking the same score.
Yeah, there you go. So let's get to the locals. The Jets are taking on the Dolphins. The Dolphins are.
What do you want to do? I'm sorry. They're both 1 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, they're both at 1 o'clock. Doesn't really matter.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So the Dolphins are favored by 6.5 in this game. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I can't believe it. I'm gonna take the Jets again, back-to-back weeks, 6.5. I think the Dolphins will win. They had their 5-game winning streak snapped last week, and Tua got sacked 6 times, got knocked out of the game. I think he's starting this week, but I think they'll win the game. But the Jets and Dolphins, I mean, earlier this year, the Dolphins won 24-0. I think their games tend to be close, the AFC East, other than like Jets Pats. These games are usually close. I mean, the Jets played the Bills close earlier in the year. They held them like 6 field goals or something like that. And I think the Jets will one thing that struck me reading the Jets copy last week after they lost at work was that Frank Gore, I mean, his comments were like, I do not want to go out 0-16. I always say this, the players do not want to tank. I mean, they don't care about Trevor Lawrence, but most of these guys aren't going to be there next year. They don't want to go 0-16. I think Joe Flacco wants to be part of an 16 team after being an NFL Super Bowl MVP. Or Frank Gore, one of the best all-time rushers in terms of stats. You think he wants to go out on his career 0-16? I mean, these guys want to win. I don't know if they're going to get the win here. I mean, I don't think so. But I think they could lose a 24-20 kind of game. I think they'll be competitive. And the Dolphins are a good team, but they're not the Chiefs, so I don't think it's a guarantee that the Jets will get blown out here at home. I think they'll show up. I wouldn't even be shocked if they won this game. I'm not picking it, but I think they're going to go 0-16. But I think there'll be a competitive game. I think pride shows up here, and the Jets lose by 3 or 4.
Okay. I got beat last week by picking against the Jets, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take the Dolphins -6.5. And to me, the Dolphins were my best bet last week, so I was really surprised that they laid an egg against the Denver Broncos. And I think that's going to be a motivated team. It's going to be a motivated Tua Tagovailoa after getting benched this past week. I think he's going to come out and put up a good offensive performance. To me, the Dolphins are a much better coach team. They're a motivated team. They're playing for their playoff lives. Down the stretch here in the season where the Jets don't really have a whole lot to play for. And the offense has looked better the last couple of weeks for the Jets as they got, their 3 wide receivers back. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think the Dolphins win by 8 to 10 points. I'll say 30-22. The Dolphins take this win and get back on track.
Are you sure he was benched? I thought he was just knocked out. They took him out because he got sacked so many times and he was hurt. Tua? Are you sure he was benched? I'm not sure.
No, I'm not sure. I thought they just pulled him.
I thought he was too, but I think he just took so many hits. They just took him out. They were losing.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
but
So
he's definitely playing, right?
Yeah, he's getting the start. Flores said already that he's going to get the start. As for the other New York local, the Giants are taking on the Joe Burrow-less Bengals. The Giants are favored by 5.5. Who do you like here?
Yeah, this to me is the typical NFL game. This happened last year. The Jets had won a few games in a row. They went to Cincinnati, and I was like, I think I almost made them my best bet, and they lost. They weren't even in the game. I think the Bengals were 0-10 at the time or something like that, 0-9, and they won the game easily. I don't know if you remember that game.
Yes.
But I kind of had the same feel for this game. The only reason I'm taking the Giants is because of Joe Judge. I think the team has really bought into his like Bill Belichick style of no nonsense, the attention to detail, big blue collar, play like the city that we represent, all that stuff. I feel like they really bought into that. Listen to some of the players' quotes, and they're off a bye. I mean, the Giants are 3-7, so they won 2 in a row. But this idea that they're going to be like, rest on their laurels. They're 3-7. I mean, yeah, they're in the NFC East, but I don't think they're going to go into this game overconfident. And if Burrow was playing, I'd probably take the Bengals, and the spread would probably be like 2.5 or 3. But if they can't win this game by a touchdown, I mean, then you can't really take them seriously. The Bengals, they're improved, but the big part of that was Burrow. Him not there. I think this is a low-scoring game, like maybe a 17-10 kind of game. But I think the Giants grind it out. I think it'll be close. I don't think Giants fans should expect 28-3 or something like that, 21-0. But I think it'll be a close game. But this comes back to just the whole Judge philosophy, and Giants off a bye. I think they'll be prepared, and I think they grind this game out. And the fact that Dallas and Washington are playing Thursday, they'll know already that one team has the 4th win, most likely, and then the Eagles are playing Monday night. So, they got to keep pace in the NFC East. So I think it's a big game for them. I don't think they'll let down. So I like the Giants, but be careful, guys.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I'm going to take the Giants minus 5.5. The number scares me a little bit because I think it's going to be closer than some people think. If Burrow was playing, I agree with you. I'm probably taking the Bengals, but without Joe Burrow, I don't think that offense is going to be able to do a whole lot. And this Giants team, as you said, they're playing for the division. They are still somehow in the mix here. They're coming off a bye. They've been prepping for this team for a couple of weeks now, and I think that gives them the slight advantage. So I think they win by like a touchdown. I'm going to say 24-17, a semi-low scoring game. But at the end of the day here, this Giants team, they are desperate in terms of trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. And without Joe Burrow, I think that should be enough to get this done. But it'll be closer than I think a lot of people think. So Giants by 7.
Okay.
As for the game of the week, we're going to pick the Chiefs and the Bucks. The Chiefs are favored by 3 points in this game. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where it's like, how do you not take Kansas City, in my opinion? The Bucks looked kind of bad Monday night. Brady threw a couple picks. But the last time they lost the game in prime time, I think, at Chicago, the next week they came back and crushed the Packers. So I think it'll be a close game. I just don't see Mahomes losing. The Chiefs are 9-1, and they really look unbeatable except for the 2 games against the Raiders. So I think it'll be close. Todd Bowles will throw some blitzes at him, but it's Mahomes. I think he just always makes the plays, and it's only 3 points. So the idea of them, if they win by 1 or 2 and you don't cover, so be it. But when it's a 3-point spread, it's basically just a pick 'em. So I'm not picking against Kansas City, the 9-1, and especially if Pittsburgh somehow loses Thanksgiving night, there'll be extra motivation to get to 10-1. There's only the first the 1 seed gets to bye this year in the playoffs. So I think a lot of teams might not let up at the end of the year as usual. When they're comfortable in the second spot. So I think the Chiefs will come out, and something's not right with Brady. So I'll lay the 3. I think it'll be close though, because these games are always close. It's the NFL. I just don't see Mahomes not winning this game, so I'll lay the 3 points.
Yeah, I'm with you. Also, the Tom Brady and the Bucs have been up and down this year. Some weeks they look great; they look like a team that could be coming out of the NFC. Other weeks, it's like, what's going on here? And against the Chiefs, I really think this team's on a mission. I really do think they have a good chance to go back to the Super Bowl and repeat for the first time in a while. That we'll get a repeat Super Bowl, but I know that the Steelers have the better record, but I think the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC, and I think they prove it against a really good defense and a good team in Tampa Bay, but I just can't justify picking against Pat Mahomes. I think it'll be a fun game, maybe like a 30-25, 30-24, 5.6 point difference, something like that. But at the end of the day, like you said, I can't pick against Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes right now. They're just cooking on all cylinders, so give me the Chiefs. How about a best bet this week? Who's somebody you really like?
All right, I'm going to go with a team that was on a bye last week, and the week before had the worst loss of the year, the Buffalo Bills. 2 weeks ago, three of the guys got posterized by DeAndre Hopkins in the end zone on the Hail Murray, and 2 weeks to stew about that. I always like a team off a bye, off a bad loss, because you have 2 weeks to let it sit in your brain and your heart, and then you come back and you're ready to go and have one of the best opponents, in my opinion, other than the Jets and Jags. They have the the underachieving Chargers.
Yep.
3-7 Chargers, 3 wins against the winless Jets, the 1-win Jaguars, and the 2-win Bengals. I like Anthony Lynn. It seems like a nice guy, but there's something not right with that team.
Yep.
A lot of injuries, I guess, but also just totally underachieving. They could easily be 6-4, maybe even 7-3. I mean, think about that Saints game Monday night. They blew that game, and they should have beaten the Chiefs, I think, in week 2. So this team just always gets in its way. And I think the Bills, I mean, they're a weird team. Like, they're definitely going to win the East unless the Dolphins come back. But they play well at home. They scored 44 against the Seahawks. They beat the Rams 35-32. They're a good team. Josh Allen's played really well. And I like Sean McDermott. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches in the league. I think they'll be prepared. I think this might be a blowout, maybe like a 38-24 kind of game. I really like the Bills this week, so I'll lay the 5.5 easy.
Okay, I like that pick. I'm going to go with the Raiders -3 over Atlanta. I really like how this Raiders team's been playing this year. They usually play well against the spread as well. Atlanta's a team that's been really hard to pin down. They've been up and down this year, but the Raiders just seem like a team on a mission. I think they're going to be a wild card team easy, and they played the Chiefs tough after, they almost won that game. Probably some might say they probably should have won that game, but I think they're going to be able to go and beat Atlanta, and the 3 points doesn't really scare me too much. I think they win by at least 6 points, maybe a touchdown. So I'll take them in a 27-20 game over Atlanta.
Okay.
How about a upset pick? Is there an underdog you really like this week?
Yeah, I don't know if I really like them. There's a few that I like, but not love. I actually like the Bears, getting 7.5. I like the Eagles Monday night, maybe even the Jaguars against the Browns. But the one I'm going to go with is the 49ers. I think they're getting, is it 6.5 now? Can you just double check real fast?
7.5.
7.5. That's the current line.
Yes.
I thought it was 6.5. Okay, great. It's even better. 49ers plus 7.5 at the Rams. They already beat the Rams earlier this year. I always like a great coach or a great offensive coach off of 2 weeks for a bye, like Andy Reid or Sean McVay. Like Kyle Shanahan getting 2 weeks to prepare for the Rams, a team he already knows. I think it helps. Niners are 4-6, Super Bowl hangover. Not really. It's more about injuries. Team has been depleted. But if they are going to make NFL NFC playoffs is like a 7 seed, the wild card with the extra wild card this year, they probably have to win out to get to 10-6 or go 5-1 to get to 9-7. I think this is like a must-win game for them. I don't know if they are going to win it, but I definitely think it's going to be close. These rivalry games are usually close, and both well-coached teams. I think the 49ers find a way to keep it close. Probably lose like a 24-20 kind of game, but I love getting 7.5 points.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Titans plus 3.5 over the Colts. They already lost to the Colts this year, and the Colts beat them pretty good, but I don't think the Titans are going to get swept by the Colts. I think they win this game outright. I know the Colts are, coming off a big overtime win against the Packers here, but I like the Titans to get this season back on track a little bit. They started off hot, slowed down a little bit, and I think they're going to start getting back in the win column a little bit. 3.5. I mean, even if they lose by a field goal, they still cover. So I like that. But I think they win this game outright as well, and that offense continues to get back on track. So give me the Titans plus 3.5 over the Colts for my upset pick.
There you go.
All right, so let's run through these quick. Both Joe and I are on the Texans minus 2.5 over the Lions. Both like the Cowboys over Washington minus 3. And we are both on the Steelers minus 5 over the Ravens. As for the Jets and the Dolphins on Sunday, I like the Dolphins minus 6.5. Joe is taking the Jets plus 6.5. Giants and Bengals, both on the Giants minus 5.5. As for our game of the week, the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, we are both going Chiefs minus 3. My best bet is Raiders minus 3 over Atlanta. Joe is going Bills minus 5.5 over the Chargers. My upset pick is the Titans plus 3.5 over the Colts, and Joe is going with the 49ers plus 7.5. Joe, thank you so much for coming on again with me this week. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too, man. Thanks a lot.